Pants! Wait, what? Are we talking about that?
I was trying to, but, or whatever, forget it. This is what happens when we try to, put our ideas together and try to just, freestyle. No.
It would work if you told me what we were doing before we started the video instead of just going as soon as it starts rolling.
You're supposed to pick up at it. Pick up. How long have you been doing this?
I don't like thinking about that, honestly.
It's true. Alright, well, regardless.
Concept of time terrifies
anyway,
me.
Time is scary. There could be a whole video on that. In fact, Stephen Hawking talks about it a lot. Anyway, it's comic day. It's Wednesday. What else would you be doing on Wednesday? Other than going to the comic book store?
Well, I'm going to be visiting my family a bit.
Nobody cares what you're doing, Morgan. At all. God, what kind of professionalism we getting around here? Where's Will? What's going on? Huh? You get rid of him too? You push him out too?
Maybe I just thought he needed the spotlight a bit more, okay?
Whatever. Why don't you just start? We're
sure. Why not? Well, starting with somebody who's known for stealing the spotlight, over in Batgirl, we've got Livewire off the Superman animated series. She has, within the last decade, sort of made her way into the comics too. She was always one of my favorites on that cartoon.
Really?
She was really fun. Yeah. Oh, she was awesome. And Cameron Stewart's given her a bit of a makeover here. He does the cover art, of course, and writes it along with Brendan Fletcher. Drawn by Babs Tarr, with Jake Wyatt doing some assists on layouts there. And we have not just the main series of Batgirl, but also the massive Batgirl annual, which, as the cover teases, has a crossover with Grayson in the first part of the story, drawn by the mighty Bengal of France. The second part features Spoiler, drawn by David LaFuente. Then we've got a few pages of Batwoman by Ming Doyle, and it rounds out with a little Gotham Academy short by Helen Mingju Chen. And that's all one solid story, actually, that, the artist changes over as she meets different characters. It's really actually pretty interesting. I'm glad they did that rather than just being like, okay, well, Bengal can only draw this one part of this story,
Right.
so we're just going to get some schmuck to fill in the rest.
Yeah. No, it looks really great. And a bit of a blast from the past. Grant Morrison, Mark Millar. Originally, they were kind of a comic tag team before Mark Millar stole Grant Morrison's ideas and then didn't give him credit. And you know how he feels about that. He doesn't like that. But this stuff took place right after Alan Moore did his run on Swamp Thing. Rick Veitch did some stuff. And then this... Mark Millar actually wrote this for good 50, 60 issues after it. But this, in the first issue, completely undoes all of Alan Moore's pretty much run. And I'm not going to spoil it for you because we will in the back, but it's really kind of ballsy to just throw that out there and undo what is perhaps one of the greatest runs on any comic book character ever. But when you're Grant Morrison, you don't really care. You're like, I'm going to do my own thing. But this was really cool, and the whole thing, Mark Millar eventually took him into the big cosmic Parliament of Trees, which they really pushed. But this is $20, which is a lot of comic. Phil Hester does some really great art in here. Very scratchy, very kind of dirty. But if you've been looking for more Swamp Thing, maybe you haven't been digging the New 52 stuff, definitely check this out.
And over in Image, we're going to go from plant life to aquatic life with a new issue of Low. This is Rick Remender and Greg Ticini's creator-owned series about a woman named Stell, whose entire family is taken from her over a few years in various ways by pirates. Awful, awful robot pirates. It's just as awesome as it sounds, but also just as heart-wrenching. Rick Remender, we've said it before and we'll say it again, he does not care about your feelings. He will hurt you with every single word in his books. And those two creators are joined by Dave McHague on this issue for a new arc after the last issue was a bit of a one-off story focusing on one of her missing daughters. And this has, of course, merpires, because,
Pirates...
Rick Remender, he'll hurt you, but he'll have fun with it.
Yeah. And the book that we all love to wait for, because that's what you do with this comic, is you wait, and you wait. But when it comes out, the sun shines through the clouds, and you're like, yes! This is the reason I love Matt Fraction. One of the only reasons I still love Matt Fraction. Truly, this is one of my favorite comics ever, and he just pours his heart and soul onto this. Working with the brothers Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba, he has created what is now a subgenre, spy-fi, psychedelic spy-fi. It's totally cool. This third issue sees Cass kind of picking up more of the clues of the mysterious cult mystery that's going on with the strange people in the origami hats that try to kill him in the library, which is not nice. I mean, the man's in the library trying to do some research, and he gets jumped by, like, origami ninjas. I mean,
They're really nice hats, though.
they are really nice. Well, I mean, they probably have a whole, like, the whole thing, you know, making the hats. It's probably like a meditation thing. Fabio Moon does the front part. His brother Gabriel Ba does the back with Michael Cabon, who did The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, and was goaded into doing this by Matt Fraction, because he has that power now.
Speaking of power, as the tagline on this cover says, if only they knew she had the power. This is the 4th issue of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, featuring an awesome Carrie homage poster cover. There's also a regular one with a big, like, skull-faced bleeding devil thing, but that's nowhere near as cool as a teenage girl drenched in blood.
Absolutely.
This is rounding off, I believe, the first story arc.
Finally.
Yeah, I
Talk
know.
about late books.
Speaking of, really delays. This, since it came back, though, has been on schedule.
More or less, yeah.
More or less.
I think this one's a little late, but we'll let it slide.
Just a little bit. There's been plenty of other good stuff to read
Absolutely.
since then, and this comic really is worth the wait. Robert Hack's art on this book is, like, so impressive. He writes,
really
draws,
nice.
colors, like, well, he doesn't write, sorry.
Oh, see, he's
he
not
draws,
writing, yeah.
colors, inks, everything. It's got this really nice painted, like, watercolor feeling to it. He really, you can tell he just, like, I don't know.
Reminds me of the Harrow County.
Yeah, actually a lot like that. Different approach to the watercolor, but still, like, very similar. There's a lot more texture to his art. I can't tell if it's a Photoshop thing, or it makes it look like he painted it on there, or if that's actually just the texture of the real paints he works with. But either way, it's beautiful.
Comic magic. And my final pick this week, based on the DVD, which is almost out. It's out today, Yesterday. Today, the 28th. The 28th of July, Tuesday. Because comics have to be special, and when all of the media is released on Tuesdays, we wait until Wednesday, because we don't really care. But yes, Bruce Timm and J.M. DeMatteis are joined by local artist Moritat, who is finally allowed to do colors, finally, on this, and it's awesome. I will not pretend to know the storyline of the movie of here, but it's alternate reality, which is always fun with Superman, and Moritat just does a really great job with texture and lighting and color, and he does a really mean Mexican-looking Superman. Like, I'm telling you, this guy is... he's vicious. I wouldn't want to mess with him. But yeah, there's some really, really great pages in here, and this is probably some of the best DC work that I've seen from Moritat. So, if you picked up the Batman issue last week, get the Superman this week, and check out the DVD.
And there's also probably going to be a Wonder Woman issue next week, maybe.
Probably.
Something like that.
If that's all timed together, right?
Yeah. And my last pick for you here is a big one from Marvel, their big moneymaker these days, Star Wars #7. Taking a brief pause after the last arc finished up with John Cassidy before Stuart Immonen jumps on, we've got a one-off story of a slightly younger Ben Kenobi. He's got a bit more gray hairs than in episode 3, but he's not quite Alec Guinness mode yet. You've got Simone Bianchi picking up art duties here, and he does a beautiful job of it. Guy's got such a good fantasy vibe to his stories that, like, it really hammers home that sort of space fantasy aspect of Star Wars that you don't see played out quite as much
I feel
anymore.
like that's totally missing. Like, the fantasy idea of it.
It definitely is. Even when they
really
go, like, all
missing.
expanded universe, and they're like, look at these, like, decades of Jedis and stuff, they still try to go, like, pretty, like, I don't know. The art doesn't match the designs necessarily and the themes, but Bianchi does a really great job of that. It's dirty Tatooine action with a tiny, young Luke Skywalker being a bit more ballsy than he probably should be. I don't know. When I met him on Tatooine for the first time, he didn't seem that tough. But hey, it's the comic universe. It's Jason Aaron. He's got to make everybody tough.
Right. And for those of you who might have seen Marvel's big new movie, or small movie, depending on your perspective, this past week, we got these new fancy Ant-Man t-shirts.
Ant-Man?
Huh?
Pantsman.
Pantsman? Oh, I'm sorry, Pantsman.
Pantsman on the shirt.
Pantsman on the shirt, that's right. Yes, nice shirts, they smell good. We got small through extra large. They're like $20 or so. And honestly, there's such little Ant-Man merchandise that you'll probably be one of the only people on your block if you do pick this up. So show some Scott Lang love and get a t-shirt.
Such little Ant-Man merchandise.
Because
his whole power is to get small and stuff, like an ant, you know? What did I say?
We're just done. I'm sorry, guys. We'll see you next week. We'll be here and things will balance out. Don't give me that. We're done.